Hey, good morning. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So, good morning. How are you today? Hey, my name is Wayne. Nice to meet you. I'm a currency trader. I'm here to be your guide. Let's go through the markets today. We'll go through dollar pairs, we'll go through yen pairs, we'll do gold and oil. I'll answer your questions. Happy Friday. Swing trading group meets today at noon, just to let you know. What else? Make sure you subscribe to Forex.Today YouTube channel. That way when I click stream, you're notified. And thank you very much for all the likes and comments and such that you do. It's an important thing of being a YouTube community, so thank you for participating. The whole purpose here, make you a success. But I can lead a horse to water, I can't make it drink, right? So at the end of the day, I can't help you skip blood, sweat, and tears for years, but I can keep you on the right path, focused on the right things, so you don't have to kind of go around in circles and circles and circles and circles. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God, wandering, and hopeless night. So anyways, thank you for being a client to TradersWay. TradersWay makes these webinars every day possible. Show your loyalty and respect and gratefulness by visiting TradersWay.com and opening a live trading account when you're ready to trade real money. In the meantime, open a demo account. Download my download MT4, and then you can download all my charts, all my templates, all my indicators, my pivot points, for example. They're in the link. They're in the link below the YouTube video. So you got your chart setups, you got your charts, you got education, you have a community, and the price is right. Life is a sketch. Can you make money with $1,500? Yeah. Why would the amount of money be relevant? It could be $150. It could be 150 million. I don't understand why there'd be a difference. No, I'm not in Portugal. All right. So where are we here? Let me get my little drawing tool going. You are not alone. There we go. Yeah, poor gaming, huh? Hey, well, all I'm saying, poor gaming, is money's irrelevant. It shouldn't change anything. You should trade this generally, whether you have, 1,500 or 150,000, for example, your trading wouldn't change at all. Nothing would be different, except your lot size. All right, so anyways, so what we had yesterday, we said there was an aggressive plan A, which I didn't expect it to work. Remember, it was just a 382, right? So that was just a fib. I mean, people can take it on a higher time frame. It might be an EMA and all that kind of stuff. But what we had talked about is this is a key level of resistance. In fact, it was a target for the week, right? So you're not likely going to buy a 382 into that. But what would be more likely? And that's what this area is. And the plan B was the real plan. And of course, it did come down, and it's working its way up. Cool. Nothing major. Oh, sorry. There we go. Let's do it again. Okay, we had a 382 here, if you remember, plan A. But we had concluded that this area was the target for the week, so a 382 was possible but not likely. And the real retracement for a bull to get back in was in here, which was our more of a plan B, right? And that did work. The other thing we talked about is bulls would sell here and bulls would buy here. Okay, now bears have permission to get in. If a bear started selling here, then you'd get your double top type play, and that would be significantly bearish, wouldn't it? Does that make sense? What do you think? Smell like a plan? Bulls can still live down here. Bears are kind of thinking about it now, right? Bears are kind of getting in the game, right? Yeah. Is there anything out there that might affect this? Oil price, yeah. Today being a Friday. It's funny, I can't post it. I was going to post a comment. It won't let me post it. Oh, too many. I'm not supposed to have more than 200. All right, anyways. Okay, and then, well, okay, so let's go back. This is actually a pretty good question that Michael brings up. No counter trend in here, right? Well, remember, the rule is early in the week, and Wednesday is sort of borderline early, okay? Which means it's mediocre. Like, it might counter trend, it might not, depending on so many other conditions, right? But if it was Monday or Tuesday, there's no doubt. Okay? Do I like crystal meth? I don't think I've tried crystal meth. I haven't met too many people at Harvard that do crystal meth. That's the interesting thing. You thought my webinars end on Thursday. Really? Huh. Well, good thing you subscribed. Now you know. So, yeah. So anyways, the pattern we're looking for if you're a bear is this. So, this is where you drop into a smaller time frame now and start planning that out. Okay? Bulls had their chance to do that down here, which we described yesterday. So, right? Cool. So that's that. How about this one? We put in an orange line. We said that whoever sold here, their plan is to get it to here. But being conservative, disciplined traders, even though I can't remember where we were yesterday, but we were talking about this and here, and that's just not a good place to sell anymore. Even if you're a bear, and even if it's going to fall, it's still not a good place to sell. And that's where you have to take yourself out of the market, guys, in the sense that sometimes I see people, they see the price going up and they feel like they should be long. No, your job is to manage risk. You see what I mean? And there's a difference. So even if it does fall further, you can't ignore this risk. I mean, your job is to manage the risk. So yeah, okay, sometimes it takes off, and for a day you leave some pips on the table. But what you don't see is the million other times it takes pips off the table, right? So just if you sold yesterday, you totally misunderstood. Whatever. Um, Now here's the interesting thing, right? It could do that if you're a bull. I still don't think it's likely, but it could. Okay. I think the bigger move here, if you happen to be a bull, is down in here. Okay. That would be very interesting, I think. And I guess we need to bring up oil. So I made a call at $44 a barrel. I spent 2 or 3 days discussing why, including emerging markets and interest rates and all these things that add up into this. And we've now gone on a 10-day bull run. Okay. And on the way down, I never made such a call. So you're welcome. Hopefully that was educational. We're outside the pivot. I would not be a buyer here. If I was confident, I would have just left my trade in down here. Do you remember the discussion? Like buying it at 44 was an investment? Like I didn't say it was going to go up for a day, right? Or that I'd make a dollar or two, or it wasn't a weekly swing trade, right? Do you guys remember that part? Because of course, if you don't remember, it never happened. Yes. So we'll see what it does here. Nonetheless, I am not like so confident and bold to say that that's worked. We've just gone up to the next level of resistance. So this is a key area. This is why even if I was a bull, I wouldn't be buying here. Okay, what we need is sort of a breakout, pullback, and then be buying here. Okay, so I believe we are going to be challenged here. But if we can get above this, then many will consider this now bullish versus previously bearish. Oh, what date, Ben? Sort of in this whole area in here. And I remember we waited a week or so before, right, before it got in here. So sort of in here, Ben. And in particular, I think in particular after this, but I think we discussed it before this big move, but whatever date that was, December something, near the end of the year. And specifically, we talked about 44. And I said, I think we'll be at 54, not 34 in the future. It was just before that. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, because I think this is Christmas vacation, right? So I think we had our plan in here. And then I think after this move, then I specifically said 44, I believe. I don't know if I said 44 in here because we never had the trigger. I think in here we would have said, well, this is an area which, for let's say monthly pivot reasons and other reasons, I would like this to be sort of the area we find a reversal. Then we come back after vacation and see this, and then I come up with 44 based on those market conditions, and then so on and so forth. But the idea was this was an area to consider buying. And again, I went into emerging markets and interest rates and a lot of different things, right? And then said it wasn't a short-term scalp, it wasn't a short-term trade. It was in particular an investment which I could be in for years. Yeah, talked about it for days. Yeah. So, anyways, taxing that for days. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know it was before as well as after, Bill, because it took a couple of weeks to get it together. The move didn't happen until 44, but the area happened before. The zone happened before 44. Now, as you can see, it dropped well below 44. I didn't make that call. The only call I made was this is where I would start to look. Yeah, so I think we had this zone, and I think 44 came up in regards to the M2. Yeah, and which would have been in January. Yeah, cool. Well, a 10-day bull rally in something that's fallen for 2 weeks is pretty good, right? So eventually the January target is in here, and specifically because of the M2, I would go for this line. Okay. So 56. So we have, this is 53. We got $3 more in here. Okay. And then the next thing is what happens next. Okay. Those are pivot points. Okay. Those are pivot points. I invite you to visit FX Bootcamp, find a trading program so you can learn pivot points. I would suggest the swing trading group. But they're a leading predictive indicator. And you, in my opinion, and I honestly believe this, you need to know pivot points. If you don't know them, I don't think I could be successful without pivot points. Why do people use moving average 201 and not 201? Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't use 100 or 50 or 20 AP. So, and they use SMAs. So I think you might be talking about like the stock market. Very often in the stock market, right? They'll use like the 100 SMA. Okay, and 50 and such. And the reason for it is back in the day, they had to calculate that by hand. There was also a time where you would pay like $2,000 a year, and every Friday you'd get a book delivered to your house, and you'd open it up, and it would be all your charts for the week. And people just simply drew on all your charts new weekly candles. All right, so let's go back to the other one. Great questions. Since we left with $3, there's what he's saying is since there's $3 left, do you enter now? And of course, the answer is no. Like now you're interested, right? So why did you ignore me down here? See, this is a basic swing trade, guys, right? This is like a boring trade. If you're a swing trader, that's just simply a swing long, and it's done. And then you had all that week to enter, and then all this week to enter, and maybe early. I mean, it's like entering now. I just went over this where there's tons and tons of resistance there. This whole area is resistance. So you threw away all this good opportunity, and now you want to get into that? Oops, I'm trying to get this a little tighter. Okay? No, dude, no. No. That's where you lose money. If you react now, you clearly have no trade plan or strategy. Just clearly. It's like nobody in their right mind would buy that. Cool. So we got to get you back to learning how to properly swing, right? That's all. Also, just in general, like you need to recognize basic levels of support and resistance, because that's all there is in the market. There's support and resistance of price. There's support and resistance of market. There's no way in heck that you should be buying at the monthly R, right? At the weekly M5. No, 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 no. Now, sure, it can go up, but that's a dumb place to buy. So, what would we consider if you're still a bull, but you missed it? I would consider something like this. Okay? But you need to learn how to trade like where were you here, man? Right. That kind of stuff. This is a fast moving out position trade. That's a little more difficult. So that, that kind of stuff. But it comes down to a basis of your strategy. It's sort of like cooking, I would imagine. There's a lot of finesse that goes into cooking, right? But everything comes down to the basis of your recipe, though. Like, no matter how good of a chef you are, if you have a lousy recipe, there's not much you can do to improve it. I mean, you're going to use your finesse to try to make it less bad, but a good chef cannot start with a bad recipe, right? And now an amateur can totally mess up a fantastic recipe. So we need to get your trading set so that you're at least you have a great recipe. Okay. Would someone trade WTI crude CD? They're the same thing, AP. Chef Master of Epics. Okay. So like what you guys do today on this, I mean, you could trade this, right? And you can drop into a 15-minute chart. And you can probably get this down to the 4-hour, and then maybe buy it up off of here. Okay, I could see traders being able to do that. It's just it's like loneliness. There's some sort of there's some sort of word that doesn't exist in the English language to describe that. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's so just late and so out there. Like, it's lacking any sort of market comprehension. It's pure technical, which is fine, but if you're just getting in it now, like really now, when we've been talking about it since the 3rd week of December, and now you want it, right? So it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with the technical analysis if you do it like perfectly well. But boy, is that lonely, it's just hanging out there. So yeah, you could take it down to here and work your way up, and maybe this comes around or something and resets up the 200. We reuse this. Yeah, it's a lot of risk and it's a reasonable amount of work. So late in the game, it's just, right? Like, for example, let's not pay attention to the fact this was 44, but one of the major reasons why we had this as a buy zone is on the first day of the month, this is the exact area in which we wanted to buy. This let me clear it out and make it a little prettier. Okay, this line here, okay, and this line here represent a buy zone if you happen to be a bull. Previous to that, we had a higher high, higher low scenario, which we also previously, I don't know if predicted was the right word, but let's say assumed if we were a bull, we would need something like that. And then we got that, and then it's a basic pullback, into a weekly buy zone, into a monthly buy zone at the very beginning of the month when you know you should be trading. And like, that is so less complicated than trading this now. And this doesn't have a lot of potential to make a lot of money on, let's say, at least on the shorter term. I mean, maybe you front run next week's trade or something like that. But I mean, you threw away the easier, I would say. I would argue the $8 it's moved now is easier than the $3 that's left. So you're going after the expensive $3, right? The low hanging fruit's done, so now you got to go high up in the tree, and it's dangerous, right? So I don't know. He got out at 51.50. What was that? Was it a weekly price? Yeah, you got out here. Yeah, it's all right. Let's see. I don't know. You did M4 instead of R2. So one way to kind of look at this, Ski, is, okay, this is a simple setup, right? Simple swing. Nothing complicated by that. That's very textbook. And then the next week opens OP, right? Out of position, which means it's very, 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 very bullish. Dare I say, too bullish. Right? You have to do the Dr. Evil. All right, cool. So you have to choose now. It's very, 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 very bullish. Do you go after the conservative target or the aggressive target? That's how to think of it. It's not always going to be the same. So I'm not telling you like always go for R2, but how do you adjust your risk tolerance, right? How do you make these assumptions or decisions? And that's what I'm saying here. In this case, it's very, very, very bullish. Maybe hang on and see if you can get to the aggressive target. Maybe you need to be very bullish too and go for the more bullish target. Right? That's all. Profit taking, yeah, that's probably where bulls would sell, right? And it's not that far from here, which is monthly resistance. So this just is an example of me telling you in real time that would be a very, very, very bad place to buy. Now, someone's going to try to buy this, however. With all that being said, someone is going to try to buy this. Okay? So let me back out a little bit. Okay? It's probably too high. Like if it goes up here, it probably sets up a counter trend trade. And if it comes down further, like here, it's probably going to trend trade. And you have to get into the idea that bulls need this to fall, right? Bulls need it to fall. Bulls buy low, right? So anyways, we've over analyzed that. Okay. A hammock. Well, I don't see a hammock on 4 hour. Okay. Remember, well, that is a double bottom, which is 1. Okay. Higher high, which is 2. And then right? So DB, that's supposed to be D. And that looks more like it. Anyways, DB. higher high, higher low, which is 3. Okay. I don't see a double bottom on a 4-hour. Now you might have analyzed this on a smaller time frame, and it was a double bottom. So you're doing this, which is fine. You can do this, and then it sets up sort of this area. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely buy that. That's a 618 Fibonacci retracement. So you can buy that. Sure. Yeah. All right. So you're doing it that way. Yeah. Yeah. The 1, 2, 3 would have been here on this time frame, guys. Double bottom, higher high, higher low. Okay. And this is just another op. Yeah, you could definitely do this. Well, AP, if you're doing standard lots on crude oil, yeah, $1 is $1,000 profit or loss. So you can extrapolate from that. That seems about right. Yeah, 21.55.8. Here, I'll put that there for you guys. This is in the download, guys. You go to FX Bootcamp Standard. In the download template files that I give you for free, here's your MACD. And the settings are 21.55.8. Frey says the economic calendar. Well, no, I don't believe that. The economic calendar is a significant part of the volatility because nothing out of trend has happened. Paul Mason says, Wayne, how do I get pivot points on a Mac? Well, there's a way to run MT4 on a Mac. I don't use Mac, so however you normally do that, and then you install on top of your MT4 my template files. So guys, this is the chart setup I've been using for 15 years. Now, I've experimented with a lot of things. I must have spent 10,000 hours finding all the things that don't seem to work. And I came up with this. And in the 2005 Forex Trading Expo, I presented this setup. I called it Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading. And then from that, a couple of years later, I'm in New York City teaching people this setup. And Wiley Publishing walked up to me and they said, hey, have you thought about writing a book? I'm like, yes, ma'am. She said, well, when can you get a draft to me? I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll send you a table of contents tonight. She's like, really? You're pitching a book? I'm like, no. I will sit down and I will write you the table of contents because I already know what I would say. Boom. So that's how all that came together. No, I don't do the expos anymore. We talked about this yesterday, so I won't go into it, but I used to go to all the expos. I used to travel all the time. I've spent probably $200,000 a year on going to trade shows. And it was never for me. We always did it for fun. I did it sort of like for vacation and for me to get together with boot campers and stuff. But now I have young children, and throwing away a couple $100,000 a year. Just, I don't know. But I don't know. All right, so that's how you do that to whoever asked about MACD. USD CAD we got, Euro CAD did in there. Go into to this, just amazing moves here after the sort of our flash crash. Okay, here's the projected monthly low. We're just sort of working our way up here. We got caught in a sideways move. So let's mark this properly. Let me go into a 1 hour. You know what? I got to delete some of this. Let me just do a new one. So we were, zoom, we were stuck in here. And we were sort of stuck in here. So I would treat this more of a breakout now, where you look for this. Tell you met that woman who writes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, that is funny, Guy. No, that didn't make me stop. That was important in my life because I was really struggling personally. I had very, very young children. I think my children were like 2 years old. My wife is stressed out to the max. I'm working day and night trading. Like I'm literally up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We were just talking about this the other day. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning smoking cigars because my office in the other house had a patio. So I could be outside and away from everyone and, staring through the windows as I'm smoking my cigar and doing my stuff. But then I wrote for magazines. I did a Forex television interview every week, right? So I did Forex television every week. I think it was Fridays. And then every week, every month, I wrote Currency Corner, the Currency Corner part of, for a magazine. And then I'd go to these trade shows, and I put on a big show when I went to these things. So I had to coordinate a full production of staff and logistics and all this stuff. Like it was really a big deal. So I traveled a lot, like 7 times a year. I'm on the other side of the world or the other side of the country. And I remember struggling, like trying to keep up with I got to keep up with trading. And then doing all that other work and writing these magazines and doing these interviews and keep maintaining my marriage. And I'm telling you, I was struggling with it. I wasn't doing a very good job of some of those things. And I was just really at the end of my wits, right? Like something had to give. And so I go to do a book signing or something at, what was it called? Traders Bookstore or something. It was this guy that would buy a whole bunch of books from a publisher so he'd get wholesale prices. He'd go to a trade show and he'd set up and he'd have all these books in his booth. People could come up and buy a book from him at face value, right? And very often you have authors like me go there and stand there and say hi to people and maybe get them to buy a book, and I would sign it or something. So anyway, so I get there. I have to talk to this dude for some reason. And I go up there, and there's this woman that writes for like 2 or 3 magazines and has like 4 or 5 books. I only have 1 book, right? And goes to absolutely every show, even shows that I don't go to. And I'm like, holy shit, how does she do this, right? So I pull her aside, and I'm like, I tell her my life story of how I'm struggling with it. And she started to laugh. And she said, oh, well, I don't trade. And my head, like a dog, goes, what? Right? What? And she's like, no, I just go to trade shows. I write articles for magazines so I can go to trade shows and sell my books. And I just went, oh, frick is he? Oh my God. Right. So yeah. So that probably is actually, you know what? That probably is. I did start scaling back. I dropped Forex television. I've dropped the magazine. Anyways. Why? It's seasonality. Why do the yens weaken the third week of January? Seasonality. Well, there you go. Langa says, Wayne, I think I understand why you said that the yen will weaken on the third week of January. I did my homework and it all just makes sense. You're welcome. Oh, by the way, I got to go back. Remember yesterday at the end of the webinar, I said M never followed up with me. Sure enough, he did follow up with me, and he treated me with an unbelievable amount of respect. I just want to throw that out there. He said he's in South Florida, so that's Francisco says Miami is here. So that made me think of it. And he's like, if you come down here, there's some fabulous, unique restaurants you won't find anywhere else in the world, and we'll go there and all that kind of stuff. So I went from a total scumbag to someone that he treats with respect and with honor. Cool. Unless it was a different M, but all right. Oh, Alan says, I don't see daily pivots in the download. Oh, really? Really? All right, let's do that. We'll do naked. Okay, cool. Here's a chart. Are you ready for this? There's the pivots. Time period. Boop, 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 boop. 1 day. Pachow! There's your daily pivots, brother. Brothers and sisters, pump up the volume. Chicka, chicka, chicka. Yeah. There you go. Let's say you don't like that. Well, first of all, if you like this, what you do is you go Profile, Save As, and you'd name it something like Daily Pivot. And then you go pachow, 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 and you go ba 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 ba, pachow, pachow, pachow. Weekly pivots. There's your weekly pivots, brother. See, nothing happened this week and then a huge move that week. Cool. So if you like that setup, of course, you can change all these things and change the settings, but I'm just saying then you can go to File, Profiles, Save As, and you can save it like weekly pivots. And then you can go back in, indicators, pachow, pachow. And now you got monthly pivots, pachow, pachow. You're welcome. But then you see, like, you got to then change all these settings, though, right? And you look at it, and look at all the settings you have to adjust. Okay? You're like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. So instead, what I did is I gave you the indicators to install, but then I also gave you my templates. So if you want the monthly pivots to look like mine, I've also given you this template. So I've changed the settings, and now this is exactly what I use. There's my monthly, okay, template, FX Bootcamp. There's another daily. Here's another one, template. I think I gave you this one too. I'm not sure. Naked. There's my naked with pivots. There's with moving averages. Cool, right? Here's weekly pivot points. Slightly different setup. Actually I don't like these, so I don't believe I gave this one to you. Yeah, these are terrible. So I didn't give you those ones. So here's the one that I prefer the most. Okay? And it's a cluster of weekly and monthly pivots. And once I have a trade plan, right? Once I have a strategy set, like this one actually doesn't have one set, so maybe we can find a different one. That one's stalled out. Okay, so let's say I'm interested in buying this as a reversal trade. That's why it's here. This is why we talked about it 2 days ago and yesterday. So if I wanted to be a bull here, I say, okay, I got my price. So now I would move into my daily, right? Okay. And what does my daily chart tell me? It says in the Asian Open, this is a sell. This whole area, let me highlight it this way. The area from here to here is a sell zone, not a buy zone. Isn't that cool, guys? Like, that's clear as a bell that that's a sell. And whoever sold there is supposed to take profit in this area. Now notice it's an M3, so the target is actually M1 specifically. What? Say that again. All right, because this was the entry, this was the target. Now notice it went a little bit lower, but you know, because you're short, you have to cover your spread to actually get taken out for profit. And someone that wanted to be a bull here 3 days ago, but might say, hey, we're going to lose a lot of bears here. And pachow, they folded the take profit zone of the daily pivots on the inside of the weekly and the monthly. So now the next thing is maybe it does up into here, down into here tomorrow or Monday, and off we go like this. That's what a bull is thinking. Okay, we got about 4 minutes until CPI. Yeah, so guys, Kiwi and Aussie is going to do well when the US and China are doing negotiations, trade negotiations, right? Because the idea here is they're likely to come up with some sort of deal. So if you're trading Kiwi or Aussie, they're going to benefit from that against the yen. That's your China play. Pivot, scan, and standard. Well, those sound like profiles. Not templates. But maybe, let's see. Does it say like FX Bootcamp pivots? Hang on, I think I have them here. It's this, isn't it? That's it there. Oh, of course, it opens on this screen. Chart templates, experts, indicators, and profiles. So here's all the profiles I give you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 to the pound yen. Pound yen, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 profiles. And inside each profile, there's multiple charts. So 38 times 5, right? We're getting in there. There's like 200 charts. Cool. And then I back out, and then the templates. Okay, scan and standard. Okay, there's no... And I wonder if I've changed some of these. Why so many, Jimbo? Because it's what I use. Ben, no. Maybe you should not use them. So are you saying, guys, that there's no pivot template? There must have been an error then in that setup. Indicators. Okay, the pivots are there. Okay, here's the proper EA for OCOs. Profiles. So I think what it is, though, is if you go into here, maybe not. Well, like for example, if you go into these yen ones, so let's do pivots JPY, it's going to have the indicators already in these charts, so those templates are there. I guess what you need me to do is you need me to do this for you and go into chart templates and then add a separate template because you don't know how to save your own template. So, okay, so I'll create another one called pivot points or something. Is that about right? Jimbo, no, they're not templates, they're profiles. So let me bring up my chart again. They're profiles. These are profiles. So if I want to look at pound Swissy, I go to pound Swissy. Okay. On this setup, there are 4 charts with those individual templates on each chart. And then if I want to go to dollar pivots, okay, now it's 4 charts all set up, okay, with pivot points. Now I can change this to look like this. Okay. Have I changed any of the chart templates? No. I haven't touched any of the chart templates. So what I've changed, though, is the profile. Now I'll change the templates on, let's say, 2 of them. Now I'm going to add that template, give it a couple of clicks, and I'll change this template, give that a couple of clicks, but I'll change this to something completely else. I'll change this to something completely else. Okay, so now I've changed the templates. That means, so if I go to yen pairs, that's what yen pairs look like. So there you go, right? That's a profile of yen charts using whatever chart template each chart is using. But then I'm like, I want to go back to US dollar, and there it is. I changed the profile, but it has nothing to do with the templates. And so therefore, do I use these okay? Do I use these profiles? Yeah, all the time. Yeah, well, that's really strange. So I'll add that. I don't know why. It's not like I deleted it. So I don't know why. So what does this mean to you? What does this mean, guys? 1.9%. So what? What does it mean? Yeah, but that's not, who cares? CPI as expected. So what? What does it mean? Wayne, how does the OCO work? I'll show you in a second. Oil price having an impact? Well, not yet because it would be lagging. Risk off. Well, what it means is the Fed does not need to raise interest rates. So do you think the market likes free money? Or let's say cheap money? If money is going to remain cheap, I mean, does this tell us there's no reason for the Fed to raise interest rates in March? So remember, right, I've been saying June and December, but March is still kind of on the table, right? So does this mean the Fed must raise interest rates in March to tame inflation? It means they're not likely to raise interest rates in March. That's a good thing. Okay? And who would benefit from this besides the United States? And that's an interesting question. That's one question most people don't ask themselves, huh? Yeah, well, maybe, right, Charles? Maybe. Inflation is below their target. Okay, well, so therefore, there's no need to raise interest rates, right? So watch the Fed funds futures market, guys. Watch the spread between the months. And look at the probability of rate hikes. And I bet you'll see that March is coming. The probability of a March rate hike has come down significantly. Okay? Less hikes, cheaper money. Good, good, good. Michael, no need to post that. People who know, know. People who don't know, don't need to know. No worries, though. Thank you for helping. Because my concern there, Michael, is people are going to just jump on it and say, oh, well, now I'll do that. No, no, no. I want you to create your own trade plans. You know what I mean? All right. What do you want to do with this, guys? Whoever sold here is targeting here. Where would buyers buy? So that whole area is legit. Yeah, I guess I got to look at pound, right? So there was a rumor. There was a rumor today about an extension on Brexit. And then, of course, that was declared false. So we had a lot of volatility. So what do you think of my trade plan, guys, that we did way over here? Did I get the breakout, pullback, and target? Look at my target. You're welcome. Man, I feel like smoking cigars with you guys today. Chew on a stogie. I have really chewy stogies. They're like moist chocolate cake. I keep my humidor between 75 and 78% humidity. I have a lot of darker cigars, Maduro type cigars. They really the wrapper's so dark, and then the ash is just like brilliant white, pure, clean, perfect ash. Well, one of my buddies stopped smoking cigars, and it really bums me out. He was kind of denying it for a while. I'm like, dude, seriously? And then he either tells me or his wife hints about it, then he kind of has to tell me. But he's like, look, I started smoking cigars every day. At first, it was just on the golf course, and then it was 2 cigars on the golf course, and then it was just like cigars my own. And then he's like, but then my wife would, smell the smoke on my clothes and stuff, so I started chewing tobacco. I'm like, oh no. And so he's been spitting, and oh my God, welcome to the South. Anyway, so he's chewing tobacco. And then he's like, I had to stop. I'm like, really? That's gross. Chewing tobacco. So anyways, so now, see, that's the thing. We go to parties now, and everyone's wife looks at me, and they're like, that son of a bitch is going to make my husband smoke cigars, isn't he? That's the cigar asshole. I'm like, whoa, dude. And it's true, too. One time, the wife goes right up to this guy and says, don't you smoke cigars? And he looks at me, and he looks at her. I'm like, these are 20-year-old cigars. And he took a cigar in front of it, and the wife takes off. And he's like, what am I going to do? I got that 24 hours a day. So we sat down, he smoked a cigar, and I don't think she'll ever talk to me again. Oh, Michael's grandmother used to chew tobacco. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So anyways, I have cut back. Oh, it's Friday. Come on, look at this. So anyways, guys, nice hit, right? Look at that. That was a good one. Looking at some of the other Swissy pairs. Oh, and you know what? I know why. Okay. Some of these trades were set up for the swing trading group. And it had to do with a lot of the yens were mediocre, like you were forced to buy at resistance kind of stuff. So I looked at some alternatives, Swissies and pounds and stuff. So anyway, some of those came together nicely. Out of position. Yeah. Oops. You are not alone. Oh, you want to do a Kiwi? I thought we did that one. I think we should get into the habit of maybe I'll create a list of currencies that I'm going to cover at the very beginning. So the people that are here at the beginning of the webinar, they get to ask, and then I'll create my list, and that's that. Because I'm pretty sure I've covered this. So it's kind of unfair to people for someone to come in at the end and ask. But no, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. All right. So you tell me, is this going to go up or is this going to go down? There's no resistance, kind of. I mean, there kind of is, but there's no like hardcore resistance. But there's nothing, there's mediocre support as well. So there's not a lot going on. So if you wanted to be a bull again, you're going to look somewhere in here is your plan A. And I guess plan B is going to be off the pivot. Okay. So now you drop into like a 5-minute chart, look for flips. You can also add an oscillator. Typically, if I'm looking to an entry, I would consider like a stochastics. Stochastic oscillator, 853, good. Okay. Was it a daily 21? What? Daily 21. You must be on a different pair. Oh, above us? Oh, yeah, well, sure. But we're not there now. If you're a bear, you would want to sell that. But if it did fall, let's kind of try to stretch this in there. If it did fall, it would just fall to the 8 and then head up. Okay? I think this is, if you're a bull, that's what you're thinking. If you're a bear, you're thinking this. Okay? But neither of those things are likely to happen today. We're on a smaller time frame. So I think you could do this before that, right? That's just your day trading into your weekly, your short-term long to long-term short kind of thing. But good call. Okay. But like looking at it on a 15-minute chart, there's no real resistance yet. The 4-hour 21 is still quite a bit above us. I mean, maybe it drops down on Monday or something, but using technical analysis on the tactical side, because I can see your strategic down, but before that can happen, for it to go down, we have to break support, you know, there's a lot to do. So as a short-term bull, you definitely have permission to look for longs there. And you'll probably eke out 25 pips. Even if you're wrong, you'll make 25 pips. Okay. I don't, without a reason up here that I can see, I don't really want to be a bear until at least a drop below some sort of level, right? And then maybe I take a shot here, and then maybe I take a shot here. I don't want to do it here. Even if there's a daily 21 up there, I still would rather see, like, how about more like up, 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 up. I mean, that's why these patterns exist, right? A head and shoulders or a double top or something like that. All right, guys. If you're in my swing trading group, we're going to meet at noon. Ryan's power's down, so I don't know if day trading is going to happen today or not, but swing trading will be at noon. So I'll see you then. If you guys need more training and support and, well, training, either videos or hands-on training, consider FX Bootcamp. Please choose TradersWay as your broker. Fund it with a live account. They're the reason these things happen every day, so we have to pay it back and show our loyalty and respect to them. And these chart templates and stuff, they're all available, free download. Okay. Oh, Mickey? Really? Mickey, you don't know them? 853. Come on, Mickey. Okay. Yep. And they should be in the chart template download. 99% chance of that. So have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. If you're a swing trader, I'll see you in 3 hours. So let's do it this way. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Thank you very much for being a client to TradersWay. And take care of yourself, you hear? Thank you. See you Monday. Have a fabulous weekend. Jimmy says, I love TradersWay. TradersWay loves you.